guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video on real analysis. This is the 5th video in the video series, and if you haven't seen the previous videos, I'll leave a link in the description to the playlist, and make sure you check it out because you need to have gone through some of them at least to understand what we are covering today. So today we are going to continue with basic topology, and this is where we left off in the previous video. So in the previous video we spoke about what a limit point was. We introduced what a metric space is, then we spoke about a neighborhood, and then we spoke about a limit point. So just to run through the definition of a limit point again. If X is a metric space and E is a subset of X, a point P in X is said to be a limit point of E. P in X is said to be a limit point of E if every neighborhood of P contains a point Q such that Q belongs to E, where Q and P are not the same point. So what that would mean in the real line is as follows. So let's say we are taking the set 0, 1, right? So which the square brackets indicate that 0 and 1 are included in the set. And let's take X is equal to R and D is equal and the usual metric, right? So the normal Euclidean distance in R. So now if I were to draw this in the real line, so this is 0, let's say this is 1, right? This is the real line. So if I'm talking about, let's say, the point 0.5, right? So what I mean to say is P is 0.5. If P is 0.5 and I'm trying to check whether it's a limit point or not, what I have to do is I actually have to check all the possible neighborhoods centered at 0.5 and check if those neighborhoods contain at least one point Q, which is not 0.5, that lies in E. So what I'm going to explain now is a very important visualization or another representation of what a limit point is. So essentially what the statement says can be condensed in the following way, that for all R greater than 0, NR of P intersection E, right? This, maybe you should not use these brackets. So this minus the element P should not be phi. So phi represents the empty set, right? So for every neighborhood centered at P, so for all R greater than 0, NR of P, these two together essentially represents every neighborhood centered at P. Now intersection of E basically means that if this intersection is empty, that means they don't have any common point. If the intersection is non-empty, that means they have some common point. Now the definition says that the points that are in the neighborhood centered at P and in E should not be the same point P. It should be some Q which is not P. That's what the definition says. So I'm removing Q from this intersection. And if that is still not phi, then I can say that P is a limit point, correct? And this has to be valid for all R greater than 0. This is the most important part of the definition. So now when I come to the real line here, 0.5, I'm going to use a different color. Let's take, sorry about that noise. So let's take some epsilon radius neighborhood. I can see that all the points in this neighborhood in fact lie in E itself. So the intersection with E, even if I remove P, it's non-empty. There are a bunch of points. So that's correct. So now basically if I take any radius that's less than 0.5, right, this will be valid. I know that. But we need, for all R greater than 0, we need this definition to work for P to be a limit point. So let's take some radius of 2. Right, this is P. I'm taking a radius of 2. The intersection will still contain all these points, right? All the points here. So even if I remove P from it, still it's going to be non-empty. So I can conclude that 0.5 is a limit point. So that's just, this is a very important, what I've given in the bottom here is a very important way in which you can visualize what a limit point is. So we'll get back to this later in this lecture and discuss more about it. But for now, let's move on to the next few definitions, which are extremely important. Now we learned what a limit point is. So now we're next going to learn what an interior point is. So an interior point can be defined as follows. So a point P in the set E is called an interior point if there exists a neighborhood N of P such that N is a subset of E. So the important thing to notice here is a neighborhood. So there just has to be one neighborhood N such that that is centered at P such that N is a subset of E. That's it. That means all the points of N should lie inside E. That's the only thing. There should be one. There should just be at least one. If there are more, it's perfectly fine. But we need only one neighborhood to exist, like with this property that N is a subset of E. And then we can say that yes, P is an interior point. Again, we'll discuss this as we go on. So now how do we define a closed set and an open set? In school, we were taught that if you use these brackets, it's an open set, and if you use these brackets, it's a closed set. Now, is that necessarily true? Is that always true? These are a lot of questions that we will answer and make clear in this video. So for now, a closed set is basically defined as follows. A set E is said to be closed if every limit point of that set lies in the set itself. So if we go back to the definition here, we can see that a point P in X can be a limit point. So it is possible for points outside the set E to also be limit points of the set E. So what the closed set definition says is if every limit point of E is within E, basically that there can't be a limit point of E that lies outside E, right? So if that is valid, then we can say that the set E is closed. So what about an open set? An open set is basically said to be a set E where every point of E is an interior point. So you should notice the difference between these two definitions, right? So here we are not saying that every interior point of E lies in E. We are saying that every point of E is itself an interior point. Then it's an open set. But in closed set, we are saying that every limit point of E should lie in E. We are not saying that every point of E is a limit point, right? So just notice these subtle differences, and that will help you a lot in understanding these definitions. We'll get back to this in detail with examples in the next few slides. I just want to get done with some basic definitions first. So this is the last definition I'll deal with for now, and we'll get to some examples. So a perfect set. What is a perfect set? So a set E is said to be perfect if it is closed and if every point of E is a limit point, right? So what is an example of a perfect set? We will see that right now. But first, let's look at open set and closed set. So let's take this set. Let's say this is E, and for all the examples I'm dealing with right now, the X is R and D is usual metric, okay? Cool. So now I'm going to draw 0 to 1 here. Obviously 0 and 1 are not included in the set. That's what these open brackets represent, that 0 and 1, those elements don't lie in the set E, but every other real number between greater than 0 and less than 1 lie in the set. And there are obviously infinitely many points because E open bracket 0 comma 1 is an infinite set. Now infinite and uncountable set, both obviously. Now okay, so let's see, how do I conclude whether this is an open set or if it's a closed set? Now what are the limit points of this set? Let's first discuss that. Right, so we discussed already that 0.5 is a limit point. Are there any other limit points? Actually, if you check, every point between 0 and 1 will be a limit point because of the same reason why 0.5 is a limit point. So if I take some point here, which is 0.999999, that is also a limit point for the same reason why 0.5 is a limit point. Why? Because every neighborhood centered at this, any radius, doesn't matter, whatever the radius is, all these points will get included, and therefore the intersection will always be non-empty. But what about 0 and 1? Is 0 a limit point of this set E? That's what we're going to check now. So let's check 0. So I'm going to take a neighborhood centered at 0. So I'm going to do this with a different color. So all the white brackets are for the number 0.99999. All the green brackets will represent the neighborhoods for 0. Cool. So now if I'm going to take any neighborhood around 0, right? So let's say this is epsilon radius. No matter how small it is, however small, if epsilon is very, very small also, all those elements greater than 0 will be included in that neighborhood, right? So n epsilon of 0 intersection E will always be non-empty because of these few elements over here, how many ever those are. And even if I remove 0, which I don't have to because 0 is not in the set E, right? But even if I do that, it will still be always non-empty. So basically, for all epsilon greater than 0, n epsilon of 0 intersection E minus 0 will be non-empty. Therefore, 0 is a limit point. And this is the important thing to remember for a limit point. Every neighborhood, no matter how small, no matter how big, this even if it's big, even if it's small, no matter what happens, the intersection, and if I remove 0, which is the point around which I'm taking the neighborhood, still it will be non-empty. Therefore, 0 is a limit point. So already we can see that 0 is a limit point. Now due to same arguments, we can also conclude that 1 is a limit point. So we can see that in the set E, there are points 0 and 1 which are limit points, but they don't belong to the set E. Therefore, it can't be a closed set. Because the definition of closed set is that every limit point of E has to lie inside E. So here we saw open set 0 to 1. So basically all elements between 0 and 1 are limit points. So cool. So all those elements lie in E. That's fine. But 0 and 1 are also limit points and they do not lie in E. Therefore, E is not closed. This we can conclude. Now, how do we conclude if E is open or closed? That's what we're going to, so now we've concluded that it's not closed. So yes, it's most likely open. So how do we conclude it's open? So we'll do that now. So I'm going to take, maybe I need to just increase the thickness a bit here. So yeah, I'm going to take 0 and 1. So this is open 0 comma 1, E is equal to this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if it's open or not. So for a set to be open, every point has to be an interior point. And the definition of an interior point is centered at those points, there should be at least one neighborhood with any radius, doesn't matter. There should be one neighborhood such that that neighborhood is a complete and proper subset of E. So now we know 0 and 1 are not included. So we don't have to check about whether 0 and 1 are interior points, but any value. So let's say my point P is 0.000001. Okay. So basically what I have to find is for what R greater than 0 will NR of P be a subset of E. I have to check if this is possible. Is there any R greater than 0 such that this is valid? Yes, there is. And what is that R? One example of that R in this case, if P is this, is simply P by 2. Or maybe, yeah, correct. P by 2 should work. Yeah, no problem. So basically, let's say I'm going to exaggerate here. Let's assume that this is where 0.00000012345 Let's assume that this will be. I'm exaggerating the distance. It's actually obviously much closer, but just to show you clearly. Now, if I take half the radius of this distance, right? So this is the distance, but let's say I take this radius. So all these points, right? That will be the set. That will be the neighborhood. All these points. So all these points are obviously a subset of E. So I already found one neighborhood such that, that neighborhood is a subset of E. So therefore we can say this particular P is an interior point. Now, no matter how small you make it, you can always find at least one neighborhood such that the entire neighborhood is a subset of P. And I showed you how to pick that radius, right? This is just one radius. You can pick P by 3 also if you want. Doesn't matter, whatever you want. You just have to show one neighborhood. So this is one such neighborhood that will work for any point P. Same, if you go closer and closer to 1, if you take 0.999999 also, just do 1 minus this value. So let's call this Q. 1 minus Q by 2 as your radius, right? Then again you will find one neighborhood such that it's completely, all the elements are within E itself. So therefore we can see that every element between 0 and 1 is in fact an interior point. Therefore every point of E is an interior point, which is the definition of an open set. A set E is said to be open if every point of E is an interior point, and that is in fact valid in this case. So therefore E is an open set. This is our conclusion. And this is how you check if a set is open or if it is closed. Cool. I hope this clears the point as to how to check for limit points, how to check if a set is open, how to check if a set is closed. I've discussed. Now, for the sake of an exercise, you guys can obviously for yourself check if this is an open set or a closed set. I'll tell you that it is closed, as most of us might already know, but try to prove it. Try to prove why it's a closed set. Now, another important definition is complement of a set. So in set theory, we have obviously learned that if you have, this is extremely big. I need to reduce the size a bit. So yeah, in set theory, we've learned that if I have some set, let's say this is, doesn't matter what this is. These are all the elements. Let's say this is E. This is the set E. Then we've learned that this is, these elements here, this is E complement. Alright, this is what we've learned in set theory. So similar to that, what E complement is basically all the points that lie in X but not in E. That's basically what the complement of set is. Simple enough, right? So if I have the set E is equal to 0, 1 and X is equal to R. So E complement would simply be R minus E, or that is equal to minus infinity to 0, 0 included, union 1 to infinity. Why is 0 included and 1 included? Because those are not elements of E, right? So they'll obviously obviously lie in E complement. Simple enough complement. Cool. So now we're going to deal with this theorem, which in my opinion is the best and most beautiful way to think of a limit point. So we already discussed about the definition that P is a limit point if for all r greater than 0, nr of P intersection E minus P is non-empty. This is what we have discussed is the definition of a limit point. But what is another way to visualize it? So this theorem states that if a point P is a limit point of E, then every neighborhood of P contains infinitely many points of E. Correct? So why does that make sense? So let's just take an example and I'll demonstrate it. So again, we have the real line. Let's say E is the set 0, 1. Let's say it's 0. Let's say this is 1. And let's say this is 0.5. Now let's check. We know that P equal to 0.5 is a limit point. We already discussed this, correct? Oh, sorry about that. We already discussed that P equal to 0.5 is a limit point. So now let's check if this, what this theorem says. So the theorem says that if I take any neighborhood centered at P, there has to be infinitely many points. So let's take first this neighborhood, where r is equal to 0.03, let's say. Okay, now we know that E, the set E of all real numbers between 0 comma 1 is in fact an uncountable set. So therefore we also know from whatever we've learned in previous lectures that a subset cannot be countable. Correct? So the subset is also uncountable. So we know that this has infinitely many elements. So obviously this is true, and it's pretty obvious for the point in the middle that it's true. But what about for 1 and for 0 and for 1? We'll check that also. Now it's the same logic, obviously. If I draw any radius, let's say this is 0.01. Again, because because closed set this to, we know this is uncountable. This is an uncountable set, right? All real numbers. Let's say this is some set F. If this were the set, we'd know that it's uncountable. That means it has infinitely many elements. So therefore, no matter what this radius is, no matter what the radius is, if it's centered at 0, we know that there will be infinitely many points in that set. Correct? So this is a very important theorem, and you will understand why this is important as we start dealing with sequences. This will help you extremely, this will serve you very well once we start sequences and series in the coming lectures. So now, just to summarize, we dealt with what an open set is, what a closed set is, what a perfect set is. These are the three things we mainly dealt with today. We also learned a theorem which said that if P is a limit point of E, then every neighborhood of P has infinitely many points, which might seem obvious to you right now, but it will serve you very well as we start dealing with sequences and series. That's pretty much it for today. In the next video, I'm going to be solving questions in depth about everything we've dealt with till now, and which had not been covered in the previous problem solving video. So if you'd like anything specific that you want me to solve, just make sure you comment the question and I will surely solve it. Hope everything is clear. Do let me know if you didn't understand anything, and I'll make sure I clarify. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next video with a problem solving session on open sets, closed sets, and limit points. Thank you.